The life problems of a 5 and 8-year-old.
I know. Okay. So work here. And then the way we do this is we go boom, shakalaka.
So you have a very nice setup, Way. Very impressed.
You like it?
I'm very impressed.
Yeah, except if it was working and we are live right now, we're like 7 minutes behind. It's like bugging me. And then I have to... Wait, why is this live right now? Why is it live? Is it live? No.
Yes, the entire time. Hot mic.
It is. It is live. That's awesome. Oh, this is going to be great. This is just awesome. Wait a minute.
I'm just impressed that you're, so many things going on and you're keeping your cool.
I know. We're actually live. This is going to be one of those things where, okay, what's up, YouTube land? We're dealing with some technical difficulty for today's live show, but I have my guest here. We have our guest here, Josh Thomas. But while we're waiting to get the, okay, this is why I need a separate engineer. Oh no. It just keeps getting better. All right, cool. Let me do this picture-in-picture thingy. All right, and we get clear that. And then
I just think this is awesome.
Yeah, this is interesting. Okay, cool. We're almost there. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it like this because this is how we're gonna roll.
Do your thing.
This is how we're gonna roll. Okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna fire this up. And then for those of you who are watching on YouTube, stay with us for a little bit while I do the intro on the iTunes Spreaker side so that those who aren't watching can join us. Okay, so let me go fire this up. We're ready to rock and roll. All right, welcome to the Money Lab Live podcast, episode number 66, the steel factory worker's son money story. All right, welcome back to another live broadcast of the Money Lab podcast from the Six Figure Academy. Take two today because we started off with a little bit of technical difficulties in the beginning, but now we're in full force, full-blown, technology at its best. Okay, I'm your host, Wei Hong from the Six Figure Academy, and this is the podcast where we give you tips, strategies, and interviews with our other entrepreneurs or intrapreneurs on how to create that ultimate six-figure entrepreneur lifestyle free of bad money stories, money anxiety, and stress. Like today, dealing with technology, so that you can monetize your dreams and execute your genius. Now, if you haven't already downloaded our free ebook, From Money Anxiety to Six-Figure Mastery, make sure you go to go.thesixfigureacademy.com and get it there. It's the perfect complement to all the things we discuss on this show, and quite frankly, it could change your life. Now, if you are joining us live today and you are not on YouTube Live and caught our little blooper session right before we got started, make sure you get on Spreaker.com or download the Spreaker app on your mobile device and search for the hashtag The Money Lab so that you can join us in the chat room and ask questions, interact with us and our guests, or even request a specific topic to discuss that will help support you in your quest for the ideal six-figure lifestyle. Now, while you're there, subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. You can catch us every week. For all other ways to find us, go to thesixfigureacademy.com/radio for all the details. Now, if there's something you love about what you hear on this episode today, and you probably will, and that could help someone or inspire someone that you care about, remember, sharing is caring. So share this show to that person. So today, finally getting on board, it's like 12:11 right now, but we finally can introduce and bring on board Josh Thomas to the show today. So welcome to the show, Josh.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here today.
I mean, if you guys could only see what we went through to get to this point right now where we can actually get on the air.
It's life.
Yeah, it's life at its best and technology at its best. So, I mean, let me give you guys a little bit of a background on Josh before we get started. So that way, for those of you who don't know Josh Thomas, because I mean, who doesn't? But for those of you who just happen to not know who this guy is, this guy started his career in the financial industry with Washington Mutual. Is that what? And some of you may be wondering, what is Washington Mutual?
It's now Chase.
It's now Chase. It was bought out by Chase. It's a bank. I used to actually bank with Washington Mutual.
Nice.
Yeah, they were great. And then they totally got foobarred by the whole industry. but I guess you were in the loan servicing e-care division. Then in 2004, I mean, you've been in business for a really long time. And for some people may be wondering, well, is he really an entrepreneur? It's like, well, I mean, you know, when you are a loan officer, because I was a loan officer before, you're kind of like an entrepreneur. You're a business within a business.
Correct.
You basically have your own portfolio. You have your own clientele. You have your own referral. You're basically running your own business. You just happen to be hanging your license at a brokerage.
Correct.
Right. So, you know, for those of you who are wondering, it's like, well, is this guy really an entrepreneur? Heck yeah, he's an entrepreneur. Originally from Wisconsin, came to Southern California to work with a family member in his business as a financial advisor. So he understands the financial advising field. After 4 years, he decided to further his career growth by accepting the role as a marketing director at a senior care agency.
Yeah, senior care. I specialized in long-term care
when
I was doing financial advising.
Okay. So you actually ended up working within that
the senior community. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The senior community.
I didn't know that. I've known you for a while now. It's been like several years.
Yes, it has been. I'm pretty sure you're going to learn a little bit more about me today.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to that, actually. So in 2011, you basically became a full-blown loan officer over at South Bay Equity, just down the street from me here. And you're a really active member of the community. A lot of people here, especially in the Torrance area, Chamber of Commerce, you were sitting on the board of directors, co-director, super involved, super like, you know, I mean, you contribute a lot to the community in terms of all the different types of things that you're passionate about, all the things that you support. Plus, because you're kind of a blended individual, you actually have are able to support all kinds of different passions of yours beyond just being in business, right?
Correct.
So whatever. I mean, I could go on and on because I've known you for so long. So just welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Good to finally get you on. I know you had a little trepidation in getting onto the show here today, but I'm going to make it as easy as possible for you.
I like to say it is a little nerve-wracking, but you're making it a lot easier than I thought it would be.
I know. I mean, you actually, and it's a good thing we have video and we have audio. So you have a face and a voice for both camera and radio.
Very nice.
So, you know, because this is the Money Lab and stuff like that, before we get into what it is that you do and how you can inspire people by understanding what it takes to be successful as an entrepreneur, being in a community and involved in a community, let's talk about your money story. You know, because it's really interesting coming from where you came from. You had every opportunity not to make it out here in California,
correct,
not to be successful, not to make money in general, like the way the West Coasters or the entrepreneurs of the world make money. So let's talk about where you came from, where that money, what that money story was.
So I'm originally from Wisconsin, and if you know any Midwesterners, you know some Midwesterners are built a little bit differently. A lot of them are, you know, blue collar, hard factory steel workers or work at some form of a plant.
Mm-hmm.
So they're the 9-to-5ers.
So you grew up in a blue collar community,
yeah,
for sure.
Very blue collar, middle class.
Were there any white collar people in that area?
I'm to be honest with you, I'm sure that there were, but they weren't around my circle that I had.
it's like that's the early segregation. Blue collar,
right,
white
exactly.
collar.
I'm sure that there were, but you know, just not in the circle that my family was in.
Okay, so it was you primarily grew up around blue collar.
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
Cool. And that's it.
That's it.
That's your money story.
That's it. No. So some of my early childhood memories of dealing with money was I was explaining to you that, you know, one of my earliest memories is I remember my father got a job at a steel company.
Yeah, and
he actually got the job not being like as a steel worker. He actually got the job being a janitor. And I remember my mother
at the factory.
I'm sorry, at the factory. I remember my family thinking, I don't remember how old I was, but I was fairly young. And I remember my family going, wow, like our life is about to be different now. Like
different in what way?
Different in aspects of, you know, income, finances. Like we're maybe able to afford a little bit more things. Maybe we'll be able to, buy a home.
Oh, so, becoming a janitor at the steel factory.
Yes, it provided income. He wasn't working for a while.
Oh, okay.
So I don't remember how long he wasn't working. It could have been short term. I don't remember. But I vividly remember him starting the job at the factory as that janitor and then working up from there. But I vividly remember sitting in the parking lot and me asking my mother, what are we doing? And her telling me, like, hey, we're waiting for Dad to finish so he can come back out. I remember seeing him vacuuming, cleaning up. And I remember thinking, like, oh, wow, my dad's in there cleaning up. But now as an adult, I'm sit back and thinking, like, wow, no, he was in there providing for the family.
Yeah.
Do what you have to do.
Wow. But despite the fact that, I mean, and here's what's really, I loved what you said right there in this story already, because, my dad, I didn't have the privilege of growing up to understand, to see the world like you did. It was so funny when I first came out to UCLA and stuff like that. I grew up in Silicon Valley, so I grew up in a bit of a bubble. Okay. And then coming out here, actually, people are saying, why are you fighting to go into the ghetto? Because I had friends that lived off Crenshaw, Inglewood, and everything. I would like say, hey, can I go have, sleep over at your house when you go and visit? They're like, why? Yeah. Because I wanted to see that. There's this weird part of me that wanted to see more of the world than because I knew there was more than the bubble that I grew up in. So it was interesting because, I hate to put my dad on blast right here, but he doesn't care. Whatever. He's never going to listen to this, I don't think. And there's so many episodes that by the time he finds the one episode that he's in, he's going to be like, whatever. So my dad basically said, and I love my dad. My dad is amazing. Helped me make me who I am today. He literally used that as a motive, inspiration for me. It's like, looking at my grades and because I wasn't the best student and I wasn't like always like paying it, I wasn't always the most obedient son. Okay. And he goes, well, you're never going to grow up to be anything but a janitor. I'm like going, but I love what I just heard from you because you guys got excited. Yeah. Because your dad became a janitor and it was able to afford a child. I mean, you made it to today because of your dad being a janitor. Oh, I'm actually going to tell the story to my dad, actually, because he used that and it made me feel so bad, but I love hearing this part.
Thank you. I mean, everything's a stepping stone. That's why I love things. So it's an experience.
Okay. So from there, what was your understanding of money and how money worked, in that type of environment? I know you guys got excited. The fact we can afford these things. Dad has a job now. And you said your mom was also working in insurance and everything like that, right? Yeah. Okay. Was she working in insurance before your dad got the?
I want to say yes, because I know she's been at the company she's been at now for maybe 38 years. So, she's been there for a while. So I'd say, yeah. I remember, I have a big family. I have 5 sisters and 1 brother. Wow. So when I was younger growing up, if I wanted things, I had to go out and get it myself. My parents told me this is what they could afford. Wasn't the name brand, shoes, etc. Were the basic essentials. Right. If I needed something, hey, this is what we could do. Right. But if I wanted more, it was, hey, go out and work when you can.
Okay. So they told you what the budget was. Yeah. They told all the kids, this is the money that we're making. This is what. Really?
You like that, huh?
Yeah, that's actually really amazing. I mean, because most parents don't actually do that. They kind of hide it. Yeah. I know in our household, we weren't allowed to talk about money. We weren't allowed to ask about bills. We weren't allowed to even ask our dad, how much are you making? And because it was a single income household, my dad made the money and he handled it all. Says that's not your concern. So we grew up not knowing anything about how money worked.
I mean, we talk. It wasn't like all the time, right? But it was like, hey, mom or dad, like, can I get these new Jordans that are coming out? And it was no, you can't afford that. You can go get the Jordache. If you remember Jordache shoes, with a little pocket on the side or something like that. It was that. Like, hey, they look like Jordans, but they're not Jordans. So if I wanted that, they would say, hey, this is again what we can afford. And if you want something with that, go out, mow grass. And growing up in the Midwest during the summer, we loved it because it was winter. Right. Go out and shovel. Show people's driveways and etc. And we'll make a little bit of extra money and then add that to what my parents could give me. Right. And then that's how I was able to buy some things what I want. Maybe not 100% what I wanted. Right. But I was able to do a little something.
Huh. So did you so when you guys made the money, did it just go right into your own pocket or did you give it to mom and dad and then they actually helped you buy those things?
I can't remember 100% of the time or remember it all, but I know there was definitely times where I probably chipped in a little bit on stuff around the house, but if I earned something, it was mine. But with that said, I also try to do more than what they could give me.
Right.
In the aspect of saying, if I know this is their budget and their budget is set like that for a reason. So if I can work a little bit harder and not use that budget, that budget could stay and go towards something the family needed.
Right.
Be it,
So it's a very much a family effort.
Yeah.
And everybody was kind of on the same page, on the same boat and everything.
Yeah.
So you guys, it sounds like you guys are a pretty close family then.
Yeah, we're a very close family.
Okay.
Yeah, we all love each other.
Yeah, okay. For the most part.
90% of the time. Just like normal
families, right?
Yeah, normal families.
So how do you think that impacted? I mean, what would you say was the baseline money story around that all the kids grew up with, or primarily, or you maybe? I mean, in terms of, okay, now this is my understanding of how money works in this world and what it's good for and what it's not and that type of thing.
I mean, for me personally, it's probably one of those things that if you want it, go out and try to work hard to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I get out of that, of seeing my dad get a position just to get into something, and now he's into there. Now what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make that get the best out of it that you can, and proceed?
For those of you who heard that ringing just now, that's Kayla's like every episode she has to kind of ring her collar just a little bit to let everybody know that she's here. But anyway,
it's the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Let the audience know that, hey, by the way, I am here. I may not speak. I never get to speak, but I'm here. So what do you think? How do you think that has impacted you as you grew up into adulthood, working your career and everything? I mean, there's pros and cons to everything. And one of the things that we always, ask our students and our clients is like, the first question is, are you where you want to be financially? And if the answer is no, then there's, some symptom of money anxiety or bad money story, or like a money story that doesn't support where you are today. And that's a cause of that result. And so how do you think that money story has helped you in terms of getting you where you are today? And how do you think aspects of that money story has kind of held you back on making certain decisions when it comes to your career or your work or your business?
Well, that's to me, it kind of blends together. It's helped me in the aspect of, if I want something, I go out and I try to get it.
Right.
And it hurt me because it can also hinder me some, is because maybe I need to slow down and analyze it instead of just
going out and get it.
Just going at it, sink or swim.
Right.
Instead of that sink or swim mentality, some entrepreneurs that I know, it's, hey, just go hard.
Right.
If you fail, you fail.
Right.
If it costs some money, I'll make it back.
Right.
Right. If it costs me $1,000 for something, it just means I got to work harder if it fails to make up for that $100,000.
Yeah. So are there instances in your life that you feel that, I mean, give me an example of how that has shown up, in terms of, give me an example of one time that you remember where that money story, that understanding really helped you grow your career or take you, grow your financial, circumstance.
Okay. So coming from the Midwest, I mean, we're very blessed to be living in Southern California. Redondo Beach, South Bay area. The housing is a little bit more expensive here than Wisconsin.
Right? And you can't pay with cheese.
Right, exactly. Cheers, beer. I have a fridge full of venison.
That's awesome. Venison is actually really good. I had some friends back when I was, I can still eat venison. It's not beef. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not beef.
Yeah.
Let me know. I have
connections.
Really? Oh, 100%.
I have friends that go hunting. They actually live off them. They actually do like good hunting. Like you
I hunt.
And you eat everything that you.
Yes, I always preference this because where we live.
Yeah.
And also yes, I do hunt, but I am I hunt deer hunting.
Conscious hunting.
But conscious hunting, and I hunt to eat and to feed my family. Certain meat.
Right. What do you use the hooves for?
Well, that part I don't do anything. I actually donate. So what I do is when I do go hunting, if I am able to harvest something, I take the meat, but then I donate the rest of the animal to a local charity that's there in Wisconsin. I don't remember the name of the charity, but you donate it, and they actually then turn the hide into boots, gloves.
Okay.
And they 100% of it is
utilized, yeah. Right? And so, do you also do a prayer when you're done? Just like the Native Americans used to do. It's like,
in all honesty, if I don't do the chanting parts, right. But in all honesty, if I do get something, I mean, it's an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
But I actually do sit back and I think, I think that, the God that I believe in, I think that for allowing me to be able to actually have something, and now I am providing something for my family.
Right.
So I do,
and it's healthier.
Yeah. And that's one of the main things. At first, I didn't think my wife was going to be on board with this.
Right.
But she's from Wisconsin too, and she knows about hunting, etc. But I didn't think her or my kids were going to be like, I'm not eating that. But everyone's
no, venison is great. Yeah.
Oh,
and if it's from the wild and everything like that, it tastes clean, it's good for you. And if it's consciously done, I'm not a big, I'm not against it. It's when it's like, I'm actually more against how we do beef than hunting venison.
I can understand that. Yeah, I'm with you.
Don't even get me started about the slaughterhouse and everything. Why?
I'm with you 100%. I understand.
They should just let, what they should do with cows? It's like when it's time, they just let the cow go and go hunt the cow. It's like, go, run.
That'd be very interesting.
It's like, it's not very hard either.
I know, right?
It's like, there's no challenge. Why are you just standing there? Go.
There's no challenge.
But that's cool. I'm always saying this is like, every once in a while we'll have controversial topics that come up in conversation just while we're talking here and stuff like that. And, people say, oh my God, are you going to be where I was like, it's gotten to a point where it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those controversial topics. Again, it's growing up in the Midwest. It's not controversial there. It's not, it's just a way of life. It's literally for a month and a half out the winter. I mean, the state kind of shuts down. And that's a lot of people are out providing for their family. It's a
that's
tradition.
Right. Yeah.
During hunting season.
Yeah. And it actually keeps people alive. So it's nature serving nature in an indirect way, because if you 100% use and you don't overhunt, obviously.
Yeah. Fortunately, there's regulations and things put in place so that doesn't happen.
It's like 1 deer per family, depending on the family size, up to 4 people.
Right.
Okay, so coming out here, getting back on track, before we got sidetracked by the venison sidetrack. Okay, coming back to how it helped you. Give me the example again about.
Well, how it helped me and it hurt me a little bit of, it's coming from the Midwest. I mean, coming here to Southern California, like I was saying, it's the market here is a lot more intense. It's a lot more, I like that word, intense than Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Aspects of dollar amounts are larger here.
Okay.
Growing up in the Midwest, it's not like it's here. Like you said, that blue collar, it's, hey, I have $50. That's $50 is going to last me for a while. Here, you go down to
$50 is like a lunch.
Exactly. And sometimes we don't even bat an eye on spending it.
Yeah.
So it was transitioning my mind to understanding that, yes, the numbers are larger, but the process is still the same. I'm sorry about what I do for my career is it's all the same in aspects of the process in order to receive that money.
Yeah. When you first came out here, did that money story kind of like your money story kind of like, whoa, how am I, what is happening here?
Oh, I was so intimidated about coming here with and doing the show with you today.
Yeah.
It's that fear of the unknown sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's either sink or swim.
Yeah.
Like I was like paddling water, like when I first moved here, because I had to adjust.
Right.
Things moved at a faster pace. Fortunately, now I've lived here for almost 14 years. Now I think it's a slower pace because
you got used to going so fast.
I'm used to going. When I go back to the Midwest, visit my family, I see the differences on.
People are telling you to slow down.
Yeah, people are telling me to slow down. People are, my mentality is a lot different. I'm more motivational, more motivated. Of hey, you want to start a business? Oh, cool. Like, what's stopping you?
Right.
Just go do it now. Like now
I've walked that path.
Yeah. Right? And I feel like I've surrounded myself with individuals like yourself that are entrepreneurs. And it's just, my mind is constantly going of, okay, what could be next?
Right.
I'm very good at what I do, but okay, what's, how can I enhance that? Right. Or how can I, surround myself with more individuals that are like-minded.
Yeah.
I didn't have that growing up.
Yeah, and what I love about having you on the show here is that we forget, a lot of us who are on the West Coast and the East Coast, that the coastal states are not representative of the majority of the United States, even when it comes to entrepreneurship. And that there's the ease of becoming an entrepreneur on the coastal states is so much easier. I mean, in this day and age, it's different because now you've got people, you got YouTube, you got online platforms and stuff like that. But just a few, several years back, I mean, it was not even something that people could think about as a possibility. And having you come from the Middle Americas area and being able to kind of step into space of entrepreneurship, is actually, yeah, you're right, can be very motivational, inspiring to see what is possible, because I bet you there are a lot of people still, I mean, in Wisconsin and in the middle Americas where they don't even explore that as a possibility, forgetting that America was built on entrepreneurship. Exactly. It was built on small business and medium size, not the big corporations, because even the big corporations started off small. Correct. The garage type of thing.
That's right. Exactly.
It's like the backbone of America. Now, what do you think about that? I mean, there's a lot of debate around whether everybody should strive to be an entrepreneur, or maybe some people who are built that way should be an entrepreneur, and some just not continue to serve in the corporate capacity.
I think I can only use like for my family example. Like I am 100% an entrepreneur mindset. Like I am always thinking on what's next, what can I get involved in? Okay, I'm terming out of this. What can I do next? That's me. Sorry, honey, but my wife, that's not her. My wife comes from a family
she's an engineer.
Yeah, she's an engineer.
Like my dad.
Yeah,
like me.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
I was.
Exactly. So her family is, engineers, doctors,
again, much needed services.
Much needed services, but not entrepreneur. Like they're more content on that security factor is how I personally think it is. It's more of that security factor when I'm more of that risk. Hey, you know what? Let's take that risk.
So what would you say living in a household where you have that dichotomy? Because I think this is a big question that people ask all the time, especially entrepreneurs who are starting out. It's like, am I built to be an entrepreneur? What would you say is the distinction then between someone who is totally fine not being an entrepreneur versus someone that pretty much should be an entrepreneur? What would you say are some of the indicators that you would say that people should think about?
To me, that's a hard question to answer, because like, what drives you? Yeah. Is it like for me, why do you define yourself as an entrepreneur? That might be an easier one. Okay. Yeah. Well, one, I like being my own boss. Okay. Okay. just to be that. But I like motivating myself to see what's next. Right. If I want something, I want to get it, and I don't want someone to tell me that I cannot get it. Those are some of the things. I'm not sure if that answers your question or not, but and
how would that be a problem in someone working in a corporate environment, or someone who's working a 9-to-5 job?
Well, more because they have the company guidelines that they have to follow, have to abide by. Easiest the way I can explain is like again, my wife. She's comfortable with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's moments where she wouldn't mind being self-employed or an entrepreneur, but that gives her more at ease knowing, hey, I know I have work from 9 to 5, and that is fine for her. That structure.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was the same way, my mom was always doing these side gigs and stuff like that. So for her, I think if she had the support in the background growing up, she probably, half of her brothers and sisters are entrepreneurs. So, but my dad's side of the family, very much like white collar, corporate America, engineers, business, just corporations and stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of see both sides of that, even though my mom didn't, but your family's kind of the same way. Your dad worked in the factory, your mom was in insurance, which is an entrepreneur in itself.
Yeah. She worked back in behind the scene, but yeah, still entrepreneur. I mean, she was relying on other individuals going out selling, etc. So I don't know if she was an underwriter. Actually, I don't remember what her exact title is.
Should ask her.
I know I should. I know she's going to listen to this and
she goes, "You don't know what I did? Why don't you ever ask? Exactly. You don't care about me, son.
37 years. You don't know what I do. Love you, mom." But so that my family is they were all growing up.
Uh-huh.
My immediate family that was around me were all 9-to-5ers, which is completely fine. Like that's fine, and I was that too. My education, I'm sidetracked. Sorry, is all technical. So I went to a trade school.
Okay, vocational. Yeah.
What did you study? In CNC machining.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So
that's so cool though. It
is. It's pretty cool. I tell people like, well, what is that?
I love watching CNC machines like etch things.
Oh yeah.
It is like the coolest thing to watch. It's like you get this block of metal and it's like whatever.
Yeah.
And then it starts to etch and it creates something.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating.
So that's all my education, but all my work experience has been in the business industry, business field. So when I finished school, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I decided I didn't like working at the factory.
Yeah.
I liked being out. I liked interacting with more people.
Right.
I liked running things how and when I wanted to run it.
Right. Now, a lot of people recognize that and see that, but they don't ever take that step to step away from what they know, because you worked in the factory because that's what you knew. That's what you grew up seeing, factory, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that is the mark of an entrepreneur, the willingness to be able to kind of step away and break away from what you know and step into this, like, well, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I'm going to do it anyway?
Yeah, I think that's a very strong mark of an entrepreneur, is they're willing to take on that risk of seeing what's going to happen. Because I mean, you think about how many times do entrepreneurs fail before they become successful.
Right.
You know, I can't say for everyone, but I know for me, there's, I'm pretty sure I've had moments in my life where I thought, okay, maybe I should go to a 9-to-5, but I've stuck with it, and I pushed through it.
Yeah. I've actually gone back and I was like, oh yeah, this is why I don't want to do
this.
I
I got really close to doing that once before, and I realized again why I love being
self-employed. Yes. Getting that 1099 or just making your own.
Exactly.
Making your own money. So out of your brothers and sisters, are you the only one that is an entrepreneur, or do you have brothers and sisters that are also entrepreneurs?
Majority of them all are
9-to-5ers.
9-to-5ers, wage earners. I do have an older sister that all my family's back in Wisconsin.
Right.
Everyone's back.
Every time somebody says wage earner, I think of that Chevy commercial, that America, the backbone of America and stuff like that.
Right. I like this. Yeah. You have a very good memory. You have.
How did I go anyway? I forgot, but it's like that Chevy commercial where it's like has this all epic, patriotic America thing, But yeah, I mean that's
so out of all of us, I know that one of them owns a daycare.
Oh, they own a daycare.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's
definitely
an entrepreneurial for sure.
Entrepreneurial, yes, definitely.
That's something I want to do, but yeah.
Outside that, they're all, they all are wage earner W-2.
Okay. Yeah. So 2 out of 7, 5?
Yeah, out of 6.
How many siblings?
7. Yeah, I was like, wait, 7.
I thought you said 7.
7.
Like,
yeah, 7.
7.
Sorry.
Wow. Yeah, my parents' generation, they were all like, they have like 10 kids. And 10 kids. It's like, I don't understand that. I mean, I recently came across somebody who, not somebody, but I know of somebody who has like 9 kids. And I was like, holy cow. In this day and age, having 9 kids.
Oh, like recently?
Recently, no. Wow, she currently has 9 kids.
More power to you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wow, must be tired.
I have 2. I wanted 4, but my wife, again, sorry, honey, but I wanted 4. We had 2, and she politely said, "Let's rethink our family dynamics right here." And
yeah. Do you need 4 in California?
She goes, "Let's. You have your uncle has dogs. Those dogs are now our kids too.
Yeah, 2 kids, 2 dogs, good enough, right?
Couple
cats, yeah. So, okay, cool. So fast forward now. So you finally settled into this world of, it's kind of a blend, I guess. If you're working for a brokerage, you kind of have a little bit of the wage earner structure, but at the same time, you're independent of where you're in and out of office. You can do what you think as long as you can produce. Results are created, right?
Correct.
Why is it that you chose this model versus just doing your own thing? Actually, you were thinking about doing your own brokerage.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, at some point, again, it's one of those things of like, what's next in life? I like that the flexibility of, like I said, of coming and going as I need, as basically as I need.
Right.
I mean, because I do need to be in the office doing a lot of paperwork majority of the day.
Right.
But my home dynamics allows me to, if my kids have something at school, a field trip, I like being that one that, hey, I'm the dad that's showing up, going to the field trips as well. And if I, it was that wage earner, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, I go back and forth with my wife and I, and it just helps for our home dynamics.
Right. And she can't, there isn't as much freedom on her end because of what she does.
Exactly,
right?
For what she does. Yeah.
So it's kind of like a role reversal. Based on the old school dynamic where, mom gets to do all those different things.
Yeah.
Whereas has there ever been a time where she's been able to kind of step away from?
Oh yeah, she steps away all the time, and we're both very, very active.
Yeah, because as engineers, I feel like, even though you have to clock in and do your thing, but I mean, there's a lot of mental processing that happens that can happen in or out of the office.
Oh yeah, she's able to step away and do a lot of things too. Daycare is a lot of showing up in school, reading for the kids. Yeah, she's definitely. Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing that a lot of businesses are realizing, that, quality of life at home impacts productivity in the office.
Correct. There's that work-life schedule.
Yeah, work-life schedule, because, gone are the days where you sacrifice. I mean, a lot of the Japanese Shinto mentality is your first family is your work, and then your second family is the one that's at home, and that's your priority, right?
Correct.
And I think because of how quickly things are and how many opportunities there are in this world to just kind of do your own thing, freedom is such a big piece. And were you ever in a circumstance where you didn't have that level of freedom?
Oh, definitely.
And how did that impact, and did it impact your decision on becoming an entrepreneur?
I mean, it bothered me. My psyche was off. Like I am one of those individuals that, yes, like I said, I parked my license underneath a brokerage. My broker is a great guy, very good. He's very, understanding. He's very family oriented himself, so he understands.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I was, in a position where I did not have the flexibility of not necessarily coming and going as I wanted to, but not that I needed to. And it started.
Same business or
no different industry. And I quickly realized that for me, it wasn't good for me, and then it was affecting my family life, an aspect of I'm just grumpy. I had to be somewhere I did not want to be. I had to do something I did not want to do. And for me personally, I mean, everyone, even, like my wife, I'm for sure there's things that her job that she has to do and doesn't want to do. But she's able to handle that. For me, I was not able to handle that. And I quickly realized, okay, I need to do what I want to do. That's going to make me feel good, but at the same time, it's going to benefit my family and make our life better.
Right. And how does your lifestyle, I mean, when it comes to what do your parents think, or how does your family feel about the kind of lifestyle that you lead and your choices that you made? I mean, they knew one way of doing things, are they like proud, or are they like, I don't know, not sure how you do it,
it's a mixture of both. I get all the time is like, wow, like I don't know how you do that. What do you mean? Like you work commission, you don't get paid till something's done. Like, wait, it's taking you 30, 45 days sometimes to get something done. And if it falls apart at the last minute, you're not going to be paid. Like, there's no way I'm going to do that. I go, yeah, well, that's what drives me. Right. And that's one of the factors that drives me, is to make sure it does get done. And I'm helping someone do something in their life to get to the end point. And then, if I'm compensated at the end, great. Awesome. They're like, yeah, no, there's no way that I could do that.
Right.
There's no way.
But they don't get in the way of your decision.
Oh, no.
Have they ever?
No. Fortunately, I've been very blessed. My family has always been very, like, hey, this is what you want to do it. At the worst case, it doesn't work. Fall back on something that you know.
Yeah.
That's my family's very supportive. My wife, very supportive of me.
Right.
Very supportive of it. It's, hey, if this is what you think is going to be good for you.
Right.
Let's do it. Like, I'm 100% behind you.
And how important it is to surround yourself with people that can support you on this path as an entrepreneur. I mean, how important do you think? Because I'm sure there are a lot of people who are kind of like going to solopreneurs and they said, F y'all, I can just do my thing. And they don't actually proactively go out and surround themselves with people.
That's exactly where I was going to head to.
Right. So tell me what you're going to say.
No, I was going to say, that's exactly what earlier I said. Now I've surrounded myself with other entrepreneurs, other people that are maybe not 100% like-minded, but I've sat back and kind of observed that hey, you know what, they took a chance. Maybe, you know, let me talk to them. Let me network with some of these people to see, you know, what struggles they had, so I can, you know, if something in my life happens, I know how to address it, or at least have an avenue of addressing it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I would say definitely surrounded myself with other individuals that have gone through what I've going through, or even are thinking of starting to become an entrepreneur and are just researching it. I've surrounded myself with those individuals.
And how would you think your life would have been without having done that? I mean, because that takes effort. I mean, you basically had to proactively go out and make that commitment to do so. How do you think your life would have been if you hadn't done that?
Honestly,
it's like I grinned. I'm scared.
Yeah. So what is he gonna say? I honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've always been very outspoken. I've always been someone that's willing to take a risk. So I honestly, I don't know. You know, it's you know.
But you'd recognize it's important. It's just you don't know what, because have you ever been in a circumstance where you were, you know, starting out or trying to be an entrepreneur and there was nobody around you that really got it?
Yeah.
Were you ever in that kind of a position?
Yeah, and it puts you in a bad funk. Like
every day. Everybody I talk to says you can't do it.
You know, they're just like I said earlier, the entrepreneurs, that there's struggles. It's a growing. Take it as a growing lesson. I know for like top of my head, I can't remember the time, but I know I felt that way of like, gosh, things are just not going my way right now. Like if what I'm doing is this right? Is this correct?
Right.
And then I've gotten very good at that balloon or overview look and saying, you know what, step aside or step away and take in everything and see how I can correct it, fix it, or how I can move on and appease it. And then I'm very good at, once something's done, it's done in my head.
Right.
Like I've moved on, lesson learned, don't make that mistake again.
Right.
And continue on.
Right.
Or ask for advice. I've actually become very good at asking. I've learned to ask.
The humility piece that helps you actually grow and become more successful.
I've become very good at, if I don't know something, I will ask, or if I'm struggling with something, I've become very good at asking.
And how has that impacted your growth and your ability to succeed doing what you're doing?
Oh, it's impacted dramatically.
Makes it faster, slower. I mean,
it's made it faster in the aspect of, okay, you know what, let me back up. Once I've humbled myself enough to realize that my way is not working, I then have to, okay, how has it worked for other people?
Right.
Let me now then ask them, what did you do? Let me take some advice from Wei. Let me take some advice from someone else and incorporate it into my own method and see if it works. If it doesn't, now, okay, I'm sorry, Wei, I tried. I took your advice. I tailored it for me.
It didn't work.
No, I tailored it for me. Let me tell you what I did. And then, you know,
we'll go fine tune it or something.
Exactly.
Like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, you know, it's so, I'm wondering, when did this actually, because this sounds like a bit of an epiphany. Like you decided like, I should probably not think it's all me, or like I'm the only one that knows the answer to this. When did that hit? Was it a certain time in your life, or did it just happen after so many things have happened? You're just like, oh.
I think it's after so many things have happened. I'm a very prideful man. You know, and I'm what some people say was the saying is I'm my own critic, or my own worst critic, or you know, that's me. And then just in business, you know, I'm right connections, right people, but things just sometimes don't falling the way. And then someone finally took me to the side and said, hey, you know, I've just been watching what you've been doing for a while, and this is, you know, kudos to my broker. It was him saying, hey, you're very good at what you do, but you're hard-headed. You know, I've gone through some of the struggles that you're potentially going through at the time. And he's like, let's just sit down and talk, ask. He's like, he had that overview. He let me have my own struggles. And said, okay, now you're at a point now where I can talk to you.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. He was like, he
was watching. It was like his little kids. It was like, he's gonna run around.
He's like, you know, you're at a point. He was like, I let you kind of do your thing for a while, which you're good. He goes, but now you want to get to a next level because you've kind of staled and I've seen you like plateau.
Yeah.
But you're still, you know, doing what you need to do. But now you're ready for the next level. And I was going to sit there and see how long it's going to take you to, you know, get your head on the table before you asked for something.
Yeah.
And then that's when I go, okay, I should have asked for you know, some assistance.
So would you recommend people to preemptively, before they even feel that they're ready, just start asking right from the get-go? And instead of waiting to kind of like figure it out. I mean, would that improve or increase the probability of success earlier in your career versus like,
I personally think it would probably improve. I mean,
but there is value to going out there and just seeing what you know, how well it works, right?
Definitely.
But just don't be there too long. Well, no, because there's flaws and
there's flaws. I mean, we said it earlier, like surround yourself with some individuals. There's nothing wrong with, you know, going full force by yourself and doing it by yourself. But if there's times where you feel like, hey, you know what, I wonder what's next, or if I could grow some more, or this just isn't working for me. I mean, worst case, you know, join a group or call someone you know that, you know, you hold their advice valuable.
Right.
Have someone else that's not directly involved in it give you an honest opinion.
Yeah. Because success is a team sport, right?
I agree 100%. It is a team. There's no I in team.
There's no I in team. Yeah. To coin a cliche. I never heard that before. Shut up. You have. So, okay, cool. So, believe it or not, we're almost done.
Oh my God.
It's really fast, despite starting late and everything. Yeah, time is flying. But love everything that you shared. What I want to do is like find out a little bit, because there's so many different loan offices out there and people who do loans and lending and stuff like that. And everybody has their own niche. You know, over the years, I'm sure you've kind of found your own little groove of what you do really well in when it comes to that. So for those that are listening and want to pick your brain, want to go into the same space, or maybe just want to learn more about what it takes to move from a steel factory worker's son into, you know, which is like a total blue collar upbringing and a money story, because you basically had a blue collar money story, going into a white collar environment, going into an entrepreneurial mindset, right? Which is a huge stretch. It's a bigger stretch, I think, going from a white collar to entrepreneur mindset than going from a blue collar.
Yeah.
Because, well, maybe not, because if you just say you grew up in a plumbing environment and you start your own plumbing business. But anyway, what is the niche that you specialize in when it comes to the loan industry?
Okay, so fortunately, I work for a broker, so I have to know loans. So I work with there's just under 30 different lenders. Each one of those lenders has their own guidelines, terms, etc. So I have to understand the loans in general, not just one or two. I have to know the whole gamut that's out there. But what I've kind of focused on a lot recently, because of when I was, like I said earlier, my financial advising background,
right?
I was in the senior community.
Okay.
So I got really involved in dealing with the adult children and sandwich generation. You know, sandwich generation is someone that's taking care of their parents, and then someone's taking care of the younger kids, kids as well.
Sandwich in the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Moni in the middle.
And I'm almost into that situation now. You know, I have my parents that are still fairly young.
So you're the Moni in the middle?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, I do.
You missed it the first time.
I do.
Money in the middle. No, Moni in the middle.
No, I heard it, but I'm like, I'm not going to respond.
I'm not going to respond.
I'm going to digress.
I like that song actually, but
I like this. I got like 5 conversations at once.
I got to be able to play that at some point.
We're going to need a bigger board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did I derail you?
You derailed me big time. No, but being in advising and working in the senior community,
right?
I've just miraculously, a lot of people start coming to me about reverse mortgages and other loan options for individuals that need to access equity in their property, but you know, with all the financial crisis, 2008, 2009, there's a lot of different regulations, and lending guidelines change all the time.
Right.
So, people come to me and say, hey, I hear that this guideline is here. I need to access money, but someone retired 20 years ago and they're living off of that income. What options do they have?
Right.
So I've got a very strong niche in reverse mortgages, but stepping back, I'd probably say I probably do a lot more educating people on what loan options that they have than anything.
Yeah. So how how often do loan officers step into that space to really kind of like own that piece that they're not so much loan officers, but they're educators when it comes to that? I think there's a lot of people. I mean, fortunately, I'm surrounded by really kind of conscious, lenders that take the time to really educate, but from a place of compassion versus just like, I'm just going to tell you what this is.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like that word compassion that you say there, is because whenever I'm educating someone, I'm educating them literally on not just what I see, but what is out there. And to be honest, whatever decision someone makes, that's on them. If they, use me, great. If they, as long as they take my education and do something with it, I like.
Right.
I hope that there's a lot of loan officers out there that are doing that, are as genuine and actually are looking out for the best interest of, the individual that they're working with.
Right.
But yeah, compassion. I love that word there in my industry. There should be more of it.
More of it, right? I mean, because the industry itself is, just staying alive in industry kind of distracts people from forgetting why they're in the industry. I mean, it's when I worked in industry and I had my team of people, I always told them, I said, hey, remember, we're helping people with what could very well be the largest investments they ever make in their life ever.
Exactly.
Obviously there's some people who it's just another one of their larger investments, but for most people, they're not going to buy more than one house in a lifetime.
No, exactly. I love being a part of that process of a family that, newly married or they're growing their family, and now it's time to buy their first home.
Yeah. And they're all excited and all.
I love that feeling, because you actually are now welcomed into their home, and you become, I have clients all the time. I tell them, hey, for the next 30 days, you and I are best friends. Like, we're going to know each other very well. Like, I memorized their phone numbers.
Wow. That's pretty good.
You become a part of their family.
So it's very much a people fit type of business, because not every loan officer, if everybody takes the same process and approach, but not every person is a fit for somebody else. So I think one of the big takeaways from this is that if you are looking for a loan, and that there are a lot of competent, compassionate loan officers out there, but not every individual personality even is a good fit. So it's worth going through and interviewing and taking the time to get to know who you're going to be. Like you're saying, for the next 30 days, we're attached to the hip. Exactly. And this is what we're going to be doing together. So if someone is interested in talking to you about that, or even just picking your brain about entrepreneurship in general, because of the story that you've come from, how do they reach you? How do they connect with you?
Well, a couple different ways. You can definitely email me.
I'm going to put that in there. And
the way he's going to do his magic with the
I'm going to type this in. Okay.
You can definitely email me. My email is josh@southbayequity.com. Definitely give me a call.
southbayequity.com. Okay.
Definitely give me a call. And my office is 310 516 3444. But a lot of my clients love this. I tell them all the time, call my cell. I get people that email me, text me.
I won't put that on right now. We'll just do the office. But like when you do connect people, I put that cell phone in there, and then next thing you know, people are going to be like all over the internet, because this is going to be all over the internet.
No, that's fine. That's why I paused. It's about that building that relationship. Like, I'm very strong on that initial relationship building, and seeing what I could potentially do for someone, and making them at ease and understanding, like, hey, I understand personally that this is a very large purchase, or a refi, whatever it be, and I understand the significance of it. And my job actually, I don't even want to say my job, because I actually don't say that. I say this is my career. Like, I am one of those individuals. There's a difference between a job and a career. This is my career. My name is attached to everything that I do. So I want to make sure everyone is at ease.
Right. And that when they hear your name, it's associated with that warm, fuzzy feeling versus like, oh,
exactly.
That guy.
I want to be known as Josh, the mortgage guy. That's why I have a couple clients. That's what, and their phone, that's what
Josh, the mortgage guy.
Josh, the mortgage. I mean, they call me for everything. It's plumbing, electricians.
So you become kind of like a household name. That's kind of what you're looking to do. So very cool. We run out of time, amazing enough, and you thought we couldn't make it. See, wow. I made it easy, right?
Let me tell you, when we first started, boy, I got hot. It was,
well, I had to turn. I turned on the AC for you.
I appreciate it. I saw that. I was like, wow, this is a great guy. No, I definitely would say thank you for having me, and for anyone that way does ask to do this, it's not as intimidating as you may think it is.
Yeah, give that warm fuzzy feeling that you make for all your clients and stuff like that. So, if you're looking to have Josh be a household name for you, and even if you don't use him more, I mean, I know people who actually know Josh on that level, never use him for a service, but still kind of go to him kind of as the go-to guy for who do I know. I mean, sometimes I do that. I mean, I haven't used you yet, but you and I talk about a whole variety of different things, and we connect on a variety of different levels, work in the chamber together and stuff like that. So, but definitely reach out to him. I mean, it's worth it. Even if you aren't in the market, it's just someone good to have in your Rolodex. And this is one of those things where you have to think about as an entrepreneur is that, your network is so vitally important on so many different levels, and just including certain people in your Rolodex is, and someone who is, has connections throughout the United States because of where you came from, Wisconsin, all the way to here. It's just, Josh is just one of those people. It's good to know, good to have, good to build a relationship with, because you never know how you guys are going to be able to support each other down the road.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've heard that your network is your net worth.
Network is a net worth. I think Jermaine kept saying that.
It is. That's right. I remember that too. I think that popped in my head.
I know, right? And I think he got that for somebody, but definitely take that to heart, guys. Network is your net worth. Okay, it's not the money you have in your bank. It's not your assets and everything. It really is your network. And one of the things that I found out years ago was that my event network, because of what I'm doing, just people who are connected, is pretty vast. And it's so funny when people come, do you know somebody? I do. Let me connect you with this. It's just like this thing. And you're the same way, I'm sure.
I know we rather wrap up soon, but I literally just had a quick example about this. I had a financial advisor refer someone to me. Come to find out, the lady lives here. I didn't know she moved here.
Yeah.
She is from Wisconsin. Wow. She went to school with my wife.
Wow.
She went to high school with a buddy of mine. And she was at my wedding.
What?
And she lives here in California. And this is from her financial advisor referred her to me. And there's not a way in a million worlds that I would have thought these two people would have known each other. But her financial advisor was like, hey, stop working with your person, whoever you're working with. They were doing they were taking a long time. Call my guy. Yeah. Call my guy. Yeah. Josh. And we're talking, and she gave me her phone number. And I'm like, oh, I know that area code. And then she said, how'd you know that? And told her, I'm from Wisconsin. And she goes, oh. And I told her what high school I went to.
She goes, oh.
And she goes, oh, you probably know, and then she said my wife's name. And I said, that's my wife. And she goes, wait, is this Josh Thomas? Like Josh Thomas from Milwaukee?
Yeah.
And I go, yes. And she goes, this is, and she says her name. And I'm like, and she was like, da, da, da. And she was like, I was at your wedding. And I was like, oh my God, that is you. I didn't.
It didn't make the
it didn't click all at once, but
right. But that's a testament in terms of not only having a reputation within your network, but also maintaining that work. And it's such a powerful thing that people don't realize just how important that is, because no matter what, your network is kind of that catch net, that safety net that you have, that no matter what happens to you in your life, having that network there is so supportive and helpful.
Yeah, when your network, when you're having those struggles, they can definitely
boost you up. Yeah, if you put that humility aside and you put that ego aside and step into that humble space, people want to help.
Yeah,
and good people anyway. So
that's right. I agree.
So cool. Well, we could keep talking and probably talk for another 2 hours and stuff like that, but that would probably make the show really boring for everybody else except for us. So
I agree. I can just talk and talk.
I know, right? So that's our show for this week. And I'm pretty sure as time goes on, we'll probably have the people that I love having on the show. I probably will have come back. So Josh, don't be surprised if I ask you to come back again when we talk about a different topic.
I'm good now. I've experienced it, and I know what to expect.
It's not that bad, right? So that's our show. And again, if you found this episode to be valuable and know of someone else who's coming from kind of like the blue collar background money story, or someone who's in the industry of loans and they're trying to step into that, or just someone who wants to kind of like understand how powerful a network it is, basically share this episode. I mean, if they can benefit, sharing is caring, right? So review us on iTunes, Spreaker, We're also on Stitcher, and hopefully we get on Spotify soon. And like the episode on YouTube Live. And then, did you know we even actually have a Facebook group called The Money Lab? I don't know if you're in it or not.
I will be before I leave your office.
Okay.
If I'm not, actually, I don't know. I will be though.
Okay, cool. Well, join us there to dive even deeper into bad money stories, elimination strategies, talking about different episodes that we've gone through today, and all those fun things that you could potentially do. Okay, so that's a wrap. And take this week to apply the knowledge from today. Have an amazing week, and we'll catch you next week on the Money Lab Live podcast, where we'll have speaker, coach, and entrepreneur Joe Affelbaum on the show. So this is Wei and Josh from the Six Figure Academy office studio signing off.